Hi, welcome back to my show. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and this is the Tea with Spirit show, episode 9. For those of you that are newly tuning in or for tuning in for the very first time, please go ahead and hit the red subscribe button on the bottom right hand corner as well as the notification bell icon so that way you can be notified by email anytime I publish a new video on my channel. Those of you that are tuning in, go ahead and get your cups ready, get your tea bags, get your teapots percolating, boiling, and pour yourself a hot cup of tea. Get the ginger, the lemon, the honey, the cream, or the sugar, and let's go into the show. So before I get into the show, I'm going to, the show is going to be wrapping up here with the next episode next week. That is going to be 10 episodes to season 1. So season 1 is about to conclude. For those of you that have submitted questions and I did not answer them or get to them because there's so many, a high volume of reading requests on season 1, I will be doing them on season 2. You can expect season 2 sometime in January, maybe around January or February. That's when I project to be, completing starting season 2 of Tea with Spirit show. So again, I'm very excited to be doing this for you. If you have any kind of question, spiritual question, you can send it to my email. It's raymondguzman@hotmail.com. In the subject line of your email, put Tea with Spirit. In the body of your email, ask your specific question, and then include an alias because I don't read your real name due to confidentiality purposes. So that being said and done, let's get into the first question. The first question this week is coming from Angel UK. Angel UK would like to ask, Hi Raymond, I'm a 62-year-old individual and stuck in a rut. I can't afford to give up work and I am diabetic and have no energy. I also feel I should be doing spiritual work, but it's like a heavy veil that I cannot lift. Can you please enlighten me? Many things. And this is coming from Angel UK. All right. So immediately what I get for you, Angel, is that, yes, I can see everything that are saying. I feel like you have been over the years, there's a lot of things that have played out in your life, especially with around family, that have left you feeling very alone, very much like isolated from people. And I feel like in many ways you've kind of adopted or adapted to the situation by becoming almost like a hermit would, in many ways. And I hate to use that word because it's so, sometimes it can be misinterpreted or taken out of context. But basically what a hermit is basically someone who's more introverted, stays more at home, that keeps to themselves, doesn't really socialize too much. There's a certain level of trust that I also feel like you don't have for people, maybe because you've been betrayed by people in the past. And so like when a person has been betrayed by other people so many times, a lot of times it does change the person and it does make you kind of view through lenses of doubt, and you start questioning everyone around you and their intentions. So with you, that's what I kind of get. Like you're in a period of darkness right now where it feels kind of dark. You may not be able to see the light or to see like the outcome of it. There's been a lot of loss as well, loved ones that you've lost that are on the other side. I do get 2 females on the other side that are trying to come through, and they're basically saying that they're there protecting you. This feels like an aunt, and it also feels like a grandmother energy that is coming through, but it could even be your mother that's coming through. But there's 2 females that stand very strongly, and they were very strong women when they were alive as well. So you did take upon a lot of that, a lot of your own spiritual gifts that you inherited would have been coming from that line of your family, but there's also other things that you inherited from them, and I feel like they also fell in that kind of pattern themselves where they were very isolated. So there's a sense that there is a you are looking at ways right now to change this. I know you mentioned your health. I don't diagnose anyone because I am not a doctor, even though I am a medical intuitive and I can see things. You know, I can give what I can give you. What I can give you is from spirit, but it's not a diagnosis. So, apart from your diabetes, I feel like you have some other health issues that have been complicating your and it has to do with your a lot with age and also vitamin deficiencies that I get with you. You know, when you go to your doctor and you get your blood work, ask them to look at vitamin B12 and D3. Look at those. Also to check, you know, your overall your bones. I feel like there's some things going on with your bones as well. I know that that would be common, you know, with most people that would be tuning in. They're like, well, that's most common with a 62-year-old, you know, but not every 62-year-old has arthritis, you know, that's not always common. But with you, I feel like that is also contributing and kind of like causing inflammation, where you may not feel very good, and it can cause other things to look at as well for you. I feel like there is something going on with your back, with the spine. I don't know if this was an injury that you would have endured, but I get almost like it would have been the lower back towards the left side of yourself. And so I feel like you have certain limitations, like you said, um, definitely. And I feel like there's other underlying issues here that it wouldn't hurt to kind of get checked out, just to, you know, kind of rule it out and see where you're at. Also, down the road, within 3 years from now, Spirit is saying that there is going to be a moment, a time when you may not be able to work. And this is not trying to come across as being scary, but I don't sugarcoat anything. I just feel like there is going to be a time when you may find that you're just not able to work because of, you know, the things that are going on in your health. And so you may need to, I don't know, in the UK, if there's like a disability program. Here in the US, we have like a disability program for people who are disabled and not able to work, or who are able to work but just work limited amount of time. It's almost like a monthly check that comes from, you know, the government. So I don't know how the UK is, but I believe there is something out there, you know, that may, a program that can help you with that. But I do get that you will have support in addition, you know, if and when this does come to pass, you will have support. And I do feel like there's a male that's going to be around you, that is going to be very supportive. This is a younger person, so I don't know if this person is a family member. This is kind of like what it comes across as, like a family member. This could be like a son or just a family member, someone who you may know, or who hasn't been too much in your life but is coming in to help you. There is some kind of thoughts that you have been having that are a little darker in nature. This could be feelings towards people who have hurt you. There's a sense that you need to let it go. It's not serving you any good. That's also contributing to your health, and to this state of being that you feel right now, like you can't get through and get, you know, have that breakthrough, and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So there is something here around thoughts, mental thoughts that are not very good or positive towards other people. And again, this is coming from years of pain and hurt, depression, you know, that kind of energy. And that needs to be disbanded. It needs to be cleared. And you can do this in several ways. Every day, you know, you can say something positive. If you're feeling something negative from the people that you work with around you, you know, try to carry a piece of selenite with you, selenite crystal. Selenite crystals deal a lot with the angelic realms, the higher dimensions, and they can help you usher in some protection for you. And also some black tourmaline. Black tourmaline helps against negativity. It kind of absorbs it and transmutes it. It also helps with against any kind of dark, you know, things, dark magic, the energy of vampires, things like that. And these would be two good stones to be carrying in your pocket, or, you know, as a bracelet, if you can get that combo. Like I have a bracelet that is pure selenite and black tourmaline, but just make sure that you don't wear that in the shower or get it wet, because selenite can dissolve if it gets wet. But essentially, I see that you do need some kind of protection that would help you. It's like a temporary band-aid. Those of you that would be listening, when we recommend, you carrying protective crystals, they can do only so much. It's like carrying, like if you have a cut and you put a band-aid on it, to heal, to kind of like prevent from getting infected. That is the same thing. It's very similar to having crystals, protective crystals. They are temporary band-aids. They are not permanent solutions. They can only do so much. So a lot of people, that I've recommended crystals to, they may come back and say, well, the crystals really didn't change anything. They're not really to change the outcomes. That's what your free will is for. But crystals, in most cases, they're there to offer you some level of protection, energetically, energetic protection. And so that is what I'm seeing with you. I do get that your financial situation, there is going to be something coming up within March that is going to kind of help a little bit. This could be like a small raise, or someone, maybe trying to help you in some kind of way in your work, in the work area, which will bring a little bit more money, and so the financial situation is going to definitely get better. As far as your energy is concerned, like I said, there's a lot of that's holding you back is your way of thinking, the thoughts that you are holding on to, and the pain that you're holding on to, at the spiritual level, at the core of who you are. You may also benefit from buying some sea salt, getting some bowls and putting a little bit of sea salt in each bowl and a little bit of purified water or bottled water, and then just leaving them for 24 hours in each corner of your living space. And then when you're done, then after 24 hours, go ahead and empty that out into the toilet, flush it, or just throw it in the sink, however you'd like to do. But that will kind of help your environment as well in your home. This is something that you may want to repeat if you don't feel like it's helping you energetically. And again, these are just suggestions. You don't have to do it, but I'm bringing them up because I feel like it would be very beneficial in helping you. And these are like tools that I give my clients when I read people privately. I give them tools and things that they can do to help themselves. It's not all about just telling you exactly what I see. That wouldn't help, just telling you what I see. That can help a little bit, but also you need some empowerment and some tools to help you deal with, other things, other areas in your life. So I want to thank Angel UK for submitting that question. That was question 1. Let's get on to the next question. All right, the next question is coming from Kim. And Kim is asking, my son is going through a lot with my first grandchild's mother. Will he be okay? And will this not be a lot of drama to see her? I'm very worried. He's a great dad. Thank you. And that is coming from Kim. All right, Kim. So I'm just going to tune in here. Give me one moment. All right, so what I'm getting from Spirit, what I'm being told from them is that this lady that your son is involved with, she's very manipulative. And again, I don't like to talk about people in that kind of manner. But, again, this is coming from Spirit. I'm just the messenger, but that's what I'm getting. Very manipulative, very controlling with her words, very much... a very negative energy, and I get there's a lot of lies, a lot of things that she's not even being told, and I feel like there was even questions whether or not this child was your son's child, and this has been some conversations that have been going on. I do feel like there is a point by June of next year of 2019 where she is going to be moving away. There's this sense of moving. I don't know if she's moving away to a different city, or if this is something even that your son would even allow because he wants to be a part of that child's life. But there is a move going on, and I feel like it's going to definitely get better. The energy. There is going to be a shift in her. There's a lot of immaturity. I feel like she's very immature in her age. She's being so young. I feel like this is kind of contributing. I don't know how young she is, but I feel like she's very young energy or a young soul. So, regardless of her age, it's her soul that I'm looking at. And um, there's just a lot of things that she's gone through herself. I'm not defending her or taking anybody's side, but I do feel like at a certain level, the way that she is now is due to the way that she was her upbringing and the people that in her family, the way that they are. Um, it's very unfortunate for your son. I feel like he is a very hard worker. I feel like he wants to, really be there, but she's making it impossible. And I also feel like there's a lot of ridiculous demands, and it's all about the money for her. There's a lot of, that she wants the money, and I don't feel like it's all going towards, your grandchild. I feel like it's going towards her for many ways, in many ways, like for nails and hair and stuff like that. So, um, Spirit is telling me that he's going to be okay. This situation is going to definitely get better. This is all a karmic lesson for both of them. They were past life soulmates, and in this life, they are twin flames. It's kind of like the script was reversed or flipped. So they're not soulmates in this life. They weren't intended to be together in the sense, physically together in a relationship forever. However, the child does bind them forever, in this lifetime. So there's always, and even if you are a twin flame, there's always that soul connection with, your twin flame. But I do get that they are twin flames. Your son is working extremely hard, and I feel like he has a lot of pressure on his shoulders, a lot of questions whether or not he's going to be able to move on, be happy, because the situation is not one of happiness. He has two decisions around his career coming up by next year. Actually feel like over these next 2 months of December and January, I know right now we're in middle November, but towards January, December and January, he has a lot of thinking to do. There's going to be two options. This could be him, leaving a job that he's at right now or finding employment somewhere where it really makes him happy. But he'll have two different places that he either applies or two different places. For your son, it's all about the money. He comes in very much like a Capricorn energy. So I don't know where in his chart he has the Capricorn, which house, but I do get like a lot of Capricorn energy with him. And with Capricorns, they're very hard workers. They're very much all about, money and kind of structuring themselves, and it's all about discipline and work. So that's kind of like what I get for your son. And I ultimately feel like, in many ways you feel like, she's not the best person to raise your grandchild. And so there's also been talk of maybe, you getting or your son getting custody of the child, in some ways. But I do feel like things are going to stay the way that they are right now. They do need to kind of, meet each other and compromise, together, compromise and kind of work out their own issues. Spirit wants you to kind of remain silent, not get involved in it, because I know that you are, Mama Bear, this is your son, you would do anything, and this is your grandchild, and you would do anything that you can, for them. But Spirit tends to believe that, this is something that they need to handle themselves, and for you to release all worries to them. Your son can benefit by using some white sage and saging himself after interacting with her energy on a sheet of paper. He can also do some like candle magic, buy a white candle and buy a red candle, and basically on a sheet of paper, write her name and his name and just put, peace between us, and fold it up and then put it underneath that 7-day candle. I like the 7-day candles because you can put pieces of paper underneath the glass, and set it on top of it. But if you have like a tapered candle, that's fine too. Tapered are the ones that don't come in a glass. They may be like a pillar candle or Some people like tea lights are like those little circle plates, they're very tiny. But I would recommend like a 7-day glass candle, just a white one and a red one, and put the sheet of paper under the white one because that's kind of purifying the energy. And then again, he can write that on that sheet of paper and light that candle every night. And he needs to kind of practice the meditation. That's going to help him and open up his spiritual side to be able to better deal with the situation, because I feel like he's not at peace. There's a lot of arguments between them, a lot of lower level vibrations. Their energy is always like attacking one another. And there's something about social media. So I don't know if they're bullying each other or she posts things about, him on social media. But I feel like there's just a lot of pettiness, a lot of immaturity, like I said in the beginning. That's the word that Spirit wanted me to use. It's very immature. All of this that's going on is very juvenile. And so, these are two adults now that are needing to be more responsible, needing to really come together for the sake of your grandchild. And Spirit tends to think that things are going to get better. I do see that they will get better. But again, they need to work with each other and not be, upset if one or the other decides to go and see other people. I feel like they're definitely going to not be together, end up together. They're going to be with different people down the road if they're not already. So I want to thank you so much. That was for Kim for submitting that question. Thank you so much. All right, our third question this week for the Tea with Spirit show is coming from Butterfly. And Butterfly says, "Hi Raymond, I have been having a lot of anxiety around my financial situation. I've been trying to get a business started, but have been having difficulties with getting the financial support to start it. I keep seeing different angel numbers that keep saying a major change is coming into my life, so prepare. And I'm coming to an end of a phase or a cycle of in my life. Can you ask the angels, what does do these messages mean for me?" All right. Thank you so much, Butterfly, for submitting that question. A very, very good question. And I get a lot of positive energy around you, a lot of ascended masters immediately around you. You are an old soul, and I do feel like you have had a lot of karmic debt that has been, worked on in this lifetime. And so now it's like the beginning part of your life, there's been a lot of obstacles, but I do feel like you're entering a new phase, like you definitely said, and you can feel it as well, where there are going to be some major changes. Your financial situation is going to improve. However, before I get into that a little bit more deeper, there's a lot of things that are going on in your life around you. This could be around your love life, also with people in your family that are kind of crazy. And I hate to use that word crazy, but this is the way it's coming from Spirit. They told me, to use the word crazy. There's a lot of craziness in your life. I don't know if you can relate to that, but there's a lot of energy that's going back and forth. There's a lot of arguments. People who can't see your vision, they may not be supportive of you. These could be friends, that are basically, they are all like on the same pattern, and you're watching them from the outside and you're like, I don't want a part of that craziness. I got my own plans. I've had enough obstacles, and I don't need to be held back anymore. I am getting that you are someone also who is very aware of what you want. You're very determined, and you are going to be successful in your career and with your business plan. I do see there are going to be some positive events coming up around March and April of this coming year. This is when I feel like there's some new energy that's introduced. Spirit keeps referring to a man entering your life. This is a very powerful man who has good financial resources, is very stable, but also a little bit controlling. He comes across almost like a Taurus energy. It could be a Taurus or even an Aries sign, but I get that he's very much aware and very much committed and dedicated to, helping. And there's going to be some kind of change or financially around that time period that will help you initiate or start your business. So I feel like you've been, asking how you can do it. I also feel like you have a lot of plans. Like some people start their businesses with just a few dollars, on their pocket. And I feel like you may be looking like at a place, but you may have to start, like at a place to lease, that you want to lease, but you may need to start like thinking in terms of starting it at your home, something that would be a little bit more, downsized, and maybe, utilizing what you can, the resources that you have available now to get it off the ground. And just like the great companies like Amazon, a lot of them started it off that business, in the garage, their garage, a home garage, and then expanded, out of that. The same thing for you. That's kind of the message and the vision that I keep seeing. Whatever you are going to do, it feels like you want to do it out of a business place, like an office space, and you want to lease it. And you may want your, there's a lot of other things that you have to, get involved, like insurance and, etc. There's a lot of different expenses, but they're saying to start off small and to rethink your business plan, because somewhere in there you are able to maybe start it sooner than you think. But you also have a lot of fear that's holding you back. You need to release that fear, hun. As long as you hold on to that fear, it's not going to help your situation. It's not going to get better where you can start manifesting, what you need to, in terms of, what is going on in your life. So you need to release those fears. That's not helping at all. But there is positive change coming. There is also something coming up where you've been feeling like you're going to be feeling over the next 2 months that some people are judging you in some kind of way, that they are criticizing you. There could be some gossip, some drama started by some females that are jealous of, maybe who you are and what you do. This could be even someone that you're with, a male, and their exes, that are messy. I get the term messy, that there's some females that are messy. And that's the way Spirit wants me to refer to it. That could be causing some drama to you. And a lot of people who claim to be your friends, they may not be as supportive when it comes to seeing that you are realizing your goals, and they still have theirs in sleep mode, that, that they haven't realized their dreams. So you're going to have a lot of revelations. It's like you're going to be able to see people for who they are over the next couple of weeks going into the new year. And you may have to cut some people out of your life. And you may feel a little bit alone, but you are going to definitely rebuild in many ways your social life and people that are around you. And Spirit is basically saying that you are very intuitive, that now is the time where things are going to start flowing. There's going to be a consistency of success in your life, and a consistency of seeing a big turnaround. But you have to believe it. You also have to work towards it, and control your mind, and the way that you allow these thoughts to creep in, and have dominion over your soul. You basically need to take back your control and take back your power, and not let insecurities or things from the past kind of define you. Maybe if somebody else that you knew had that same business plan and they failed, that's them. You can't compare yourself to them. Not everyone is going to, that was their destiny and their life path, but you have your own set goals, and you need to achieve them and go 100% forward with what you can do. And know that you can do it by yourself. You are very powerful. So that is the message from Spirit. So again, this is for Butterfly. So thank you so much for submitting that question. All right, our fourth question this week is coming from Brooke. And Brooke is saying, Dear Raymond, my father passed away from ALS about 15 years ago. I did not make it to his bedside in time. But before he passed, my uncle put the phone to his ear and told me to say goodbye. I had zero time to think of what to say, and I can't even remember now exactly what I said. But for the past 15 years, I have wondered if he heard me. Because ALS took his ability to speak, he could not respond to me. Can you please tell me if my dad heard my last words to him and if he's okay now? I know he had a lot to tell me that he physically couldn't, so I was wondering if he had anything else to say to me. The closure is something I have longed for. Thank you for everything you do and for all the lives that your special gift has changed. Thank you so much, sweetheart. And this made me a little emotional because I can feel your energy and your soul, and I can feel the pain that you've been holding on to and this like heavy burden on your shoulders. So I'm glad that I'm able to use this platform to help people and give them some kind of closure as needed. The first thing that I'm getting from your dad, the first message that I'm getting is that he's definitely okay. He did hear you. You need to know that he did hear you. A lot of times when people are stuck in a disabled condition or like a condition like ALS or any kind of thing else, where they cannot speak or they cannot necessarily see, and they may even be in a coma. If their loved ones are there or they're on the phone, the soul is fully aware of everything that's happening. And I do feel like he was very much aware. And he's telling me that he was very much aware of what you said. You basically told him that you did love him and it was okay for him, to go, if that's what, because I feel like that's the energy that is coming through, and that's what I'm hearing from my spirit guides and from his soul. I do get that your dad was someone who was very much the take charge kind of type of guy. He wasn't someone to, kind of sit idly by and not see anything, not do anything, but let other people do, take control. He was very much like a leader, very much controlling in certain ways, to take control of things and get things done. He also didn't put up with BS. He comes in very much with an energy like, he'd give you a look. If he didn't, like something, there was a look that he'd give, and just very fierce type of energy. Like, I wouldn't want to mess with him. That's kind of the energy, not that he's necessarily scary, but, he was the kind of very serious type of guy, I feel. But I do feel like this disease did change him completely. So he may have been, a little bit more different, personality wise, mood wise, while he was going through this. He is telling me that he is aware of you being with someone else. So I don't know if you, who you were with at that time is now someone else. You're now with someone else, but he is aware of whoever's in your life or whoever you, since he passed 15 years ago, who you've transitioned to or who you're with now in a relationship. So he is fully aware of that. He's also fully aware of a separation. So again, this makes me feel like you're with someone else, or there was some kind of person that you were dating and there was like a separation or some kind of maybe like a separation in a relationship, and then you moved on. But he's talking about separation. He's also talking about there was some distance between him and some family members. It almost feels like he is fully aware now that he kind of contributed to some of this. This could have been like he didn't see eye to eye with someone in the family. That's kind of like what's coming through with him. He's also showing me the winter months, so I don't know if he passed around, the winter time frame. But I keep seeing December, around December. That month is coming in very strongly, so there's a great significance for that month in this reading, and what is coming through the messages as well. I do feel like he also had something with his breathing. Maybe he couldn't breathe very well. I'm not familiar with the disease of ALS and how it affects the body. I think I briefly remember seeing an episode, I think, on TV where someone was affected with it, and it does affect the muscles. I could be wrong. The muscles and the nerves, and kind of the function of the body. But I do get that there were some issues around breathing with him. He also is telling me that for you, he has some messages for you. He's saying that you're going through a rough period. Not only do you feel like the day that he died, that there was, things that were left unsaid, but you also feel like a part of you died as well. And you feel a little lonely. You feel like this changed you. Your dad's passing changed you completely. I feel like you were a different person before that. You were more happy. There was more reason to live and to exist, and he wants you to go back to being that person and knowing that his soul is always there with you. He's always going to be there to support you in everything that you do, in every pace of life that you are going through. He is saying that you are going through some darker periods right now, maybe with depression in your own personal life. There is going to be positive change. So the cycle that you're stuck in now is not where you're going to be at in the next couple of months. I do feel like within the next 10 months, anywhere between now and 10 months, you are going to see some positive changes. There is, especially around like winter going into spring, there's going to be a lot of positive changes here. Um, he also keeps showing me the letter D. I don't know if this is like a Daniel or David. There's something with a connection with the letter D in your life. Again, I keep seeing the letter D, and only you can make that, maybe that association with it. Um, in many ways, you've also become very much isolated. You've pushed people away, not intentionally, but because, this is how life has basically has, kind of evolved for you, where you feel like you need to be more by yourself and kind of gain some clarity. And basically what he's saying is that he wants you to go back out there, kind of maybe go out with your friends, take a trip. I feel like you're very worn out in many ways, very stressed by what you do. There's a lot of worries that you have that you don't really talk about. And also maybe some minor health issues that you're going through as well. I get the abdominal area with you, a lot around that area, and also maybe some feminine issues that need to be, looked at, or at least make sure that you're getting your your yearly exams and whatnot. But these are things, again, that are going to ease up. I do feel like there is going to be some reasons to be happy. So there is some positivity coming into your life. But in order to allow this, you kind of need to stop resisting and let go of any burdens or any kind of you feeling guilty, that you weren't there when your dad passed. He loves you unconditionally. He heard you. That's something that you need to know, and that he is around you and fully aware of everything that's going on in your life. So these are the messages that that I got from his soul. I want to thank you so much, and I'm sending you big angel hugs. So thank you so much for allowing me to do this for you. So thank you again. All right, and the last question for this week's episode of Tea with Spirit is coming from Virg on the Edge. Now, Virg on the Edge says, "Hi Raymond, I'm having a huge amount of difficulties at this time related to my finances and home that's causing me to become resentful toward my partner. My home is literally falling apart after only 3 years post-settlement. I feel like these troubles are deliberately coming from the universe since I was unable to release my ex. Are my current troubles related to my partnership, and do I need to release my ex to be happy again? It's really starting to weigh me down financially, emotionally, and physically. No matter how hard I try, things seem to continue downhill for me. I'm ready to sell my home and move back into an apartment. I can't get help when I need it the most. Can you help me see what the universe is trying to teach me?" And again, this is coming from Virg on the Edge. And thank you so much for submitting that question. Well, this seems almost like a two-part question. I'm going to try my best to kind of give you, the tea from spirit on what is going on with you. I do feel there's a lot of overwhelming pressure. You have kind of programmed yourself into thinking or only seeing the negative, and you kind of only expect the negative to occur from this point forward. And I don't find that funny, and it's not funny at all, but that's the way it's coming across. It's almost like you've had so much bad things happen to you in your life, or negative things that would be considered negative, that you don't really have a good outlook on anything else that would happen in your life. It's almost like you're just waiting and looking at the clock and saying to the universe, when is something, going to be coming in next? Is it going to be at 5 p.m. today that something bad happens? And that's the way that the energy is. And Spirit wants you to release that. That is fear-based thinking, and it's fear-based programming that is holding you back to a lower vibration. When we are stuck in that kind of thinking and that lower vibration, it causes a lot of delays. This is what's happening to you. You're not being punished by the universe. I want to make that clear for you and anyone else that has been going through some things that are negative, even maybe losing a close loved one. The universe doesn't punish us. That's not what it's about. A lot of times these are karmic lessons that we have accumulated over a lifetime that affect us. And a lot of times these are lessons that we need to learn here on the physical world during our existing lifetime to help acclimate our soul and get towards the correct life path. But for you, I don't feel like this is punishment from the soul. You're not cursed, because Spirit is telling me that that's another thing that you've thought about, you know, or it's crossed your mind somehow that you could possibly be cursed, or this is a generational curse or something like that. And while curses are very real and those things do exist, I don't see that that is what's happening here. You need to release your ex. That is a given. It's a very toxic situation. I'm just going to be very blunt like I am with all of my readings that are private. And, you know, I don't sugarcoat anything. Your ex needs to go. You need, and I think you already know that, and that's why you brought this up. You already know that that's going to, he's affecting you in many ways. He's a very, very dark, negative energy. His vibration, his mindset is a lot of manipulation, a lot of cheating. There's not loyalty there. So the ex has to go. If you want to see change, I'm just being very honest, and you want things to get better, Spirit is saying that has to happen. You have to put your foot down, and you have to draw a line in the sand, draw a line in the ground, and basically letting him know that you have boundaries, and he cannot continue to do that, because I feel like he is someone who's very manipulative in the way that he presents his words. He knows how to get what he wants. Basically, he's used to doing that with women. He knows how to get what he wants. He'll say, you know, he's changed, this and this, yada, yada, yada. You know, it's a repetitive cycle for him. He's like someone who is a pathological liar, a narcissist. That's what's coming through from Spirit. There is somebody else that is waiting and willing to, you know, to come into your life. But I also feel like whoever you're with, you know, your situation, you need to let go of that situation and kind of disband yourself from all of that. It's going to help improve your finances. Your finances are going to get better. But also the men that you've chosen in the past, you know, have like a certain cycle where they maybe have been too codependent on you to get things done. Financially, they're not stable, or they are not contributing to you, and they expect you to take care of them and maintain them, if that makes sense. And I'm putting that, positioning that in a very polite and almost a very, you know, good way that would make sense to you. But that's what's coming across from Spirit. I get that they are just someone who they're, you know, these are guys that don't really have goals. They expect, you know, everything to be handed to them. There's a lot of immaturity, a lot of growing up, even though they're, you know, maybe older men. They just, this is the pattern that they've lived by. So there's a lot of struggles that you need to push through, but I do see you pushing through all of this and being guided by Spirit, and your finances are going to get better over the next 2 years. It's not going to be something that happens immediately, but it will happen. I actually think downsizing to an apartment is a good idea, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I feel like it still will be some time. By 2020, it seems like, you know, or right by the end of 2019, in the last quarter, you will be better in a better position to move forward with those plans. Spirit wants you to protect your heart, because I feel like you want to fully, truly be loved, but there is like a third party situation where whoever you're with, or whoever you'll be with, there is someone else, and you're not the only one, and you may be aware of it, and it, you know, you're like asking yourself, well, what can I do, you know? But it's all about becoming empowered and knowing that you're better than that, knowing your worth, and moving away from these low vibrations and these people that are stuck in their own karmic cycle. Because like you said, you know, you are fully aware of how they are, your ex is, but for whatever reason you chose to stay with that person. That's when, you know, it creates some bad karma for ourselves, and it can bring bad karma into our lives, and then you'll be going into the next lifetime reliving, you know, karmic issues, and you don't need that. So if you're able to address that in the now and the present while you're still alive here in the physical world, you have a strong chance of remediating this karmic, this bad karma, and transmuting that into good karma, because the universe will see that you have done your part, and you're not paralyzed by fear or the what ifs. Because I feel like you're thinking very much in terms of the what ifs. You know, well, what if I leave? I won't be able to make it, or you know, maybe there's some situation like government funding, you know, and that if you leave, you know, well, they're going to take away a program or something like that. But you have to kind of go through maybe a little bit of hardships to get free from the situation. Basically, you need to break free, and only you can do that. No one can do it for you. You have to be strong of mind, strong of will, and know that you can get ahead. But yeah, your ex has to go. If you don't, you know, you keep staying with that person, it's going to be an endless cycle of pain, of sorrow, and despair. And you know, I hate to be someone that, you know, I hate to be the messenger and give that kind of message, but like I said, this is coming from spirit. I'm just the messenger. That's what they show me. And, you know, that's why it's good to have this kind of show. And a lot of people that have asked me, you know, I've done readings where they're like, well, you only give like gloomy things. You know, it seems like your reading was only gloomy. And that's not the case. You know, the way that spirit presents information to people when they get private readings is that they're going to bring forward information that is can be utilized by you to change, use your free will to change outcomes. So if it's something that's kind of like gloomy, it doesn't seem like it's very much positive outlook, it's because that is the main message that they want you, that can bring some healing to you and change and help you see that there needs to be some change that needs to occur in your life. It's not all negative. Like with you, I don't see all negative. There is positivity. Your financial situation is going to get better, but not until you disband or remove that ex from your life and move forward. You know, there's a lot of clearing, energy clearing that you're needing to do as well. And also, I feel like the area that you're living in is not a good area either. There's a lot of just negative energy around there. So, yeah, moving away from that place and that area eventually is going to help you, and you are going to do great with that. So, I want to thank you again for submitting that question. And I want to thank all of you, all of my listeners, for submitting your questions and, you know, taking the time out of your day to listen to the show. I do feel like there's many life themes to every person that I've read on the show that a lot of you can relate to. For those of you that I have read on the show, if you would like to get a private reading to, you know, dive deeper on this, you can go to my website. It is listed here. It's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. If you are not someone who I've read on the show, but you're interested in a private reading, you can also go there. Be sure to check out my new book. It's called Starseed Footsteps, and it is a book about spirituality. It talks about, you know, the occult, angels, demons, what happens when we die, crystals, twin flames, and it goes on and on. Each chapter covers a different subject in depth. So it is being, you know, very useful. It's being found to be very helpful to a lot of people that have bought a copy of it. If you want an autographed copy, you can pick it up here on my website on the shop section. If you don't want to get an autographed copy, you can order it from Amazon directly or barnesandnoble.com. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and also catch up with the other episodes of Tea with Spirit. Check out your monthly horoscopes for this month, your weekly horoscopes, and your twin flame forecast. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing week.